It is now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for this evening, a true leader of military medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Health Affairs, the Honorable Jonathan Woodson, MD.
Well, thank you, and it's a great honor and pleasure for me to be here tonight. Military medicine is so near and dear to my heart and has been for decades. I've had an opportunity over the course of my career to be part of fine organizations, but none finer than military medicine and the mission that we have. So, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, I want to first thank the Henry Jackson Foundation, John Lowe, and the entire team for putting together this event to honor the men and women who have given so selflessly in pursuit of a higher purpose. You know, I've been at this event in the past, and it's always been inspiring and uplifting. For those of you who have been here before as well, you know what I mean. For those of you who are coming for the first time, you're in for a very special evening. It's a night that reminds us all of the enormous and indispensable role that the United States military health system plays in the world, and it provides us with the physical embodiment of the people who make the system of care work. The people within it, the leaders who oversee it, and the vital role that is played by those from the private sector who contribute to it. Now, I'm not going to get ahead of the formal award presentations to each of the honorees, but in an organization filled with exceptional people, those honored today are among the best of the best and are truly deserving of the honors they are about to receive. And I guarantee you that when you depart here this evening with exactly the right thoughts about, gee, if they can do that, how can I do more? It's re-energizing for all of us. I have just 3 points I want to make tonight that I hope mean something to all of you, not just this evening, but as you share your own experiences here this evening with others, at the dinner table, in the office, or in your own speaking engagement. First, I often have the great opportunity to speak of the important contributions that military medicine has made to American medicine and the global practice of medicine over decades, and particularly during periods of war. There were great achievements throughout World War II and Vietnam. It's an amazing record of scientific discovery that has both saved lives and improved the quality of those lives. I know we are honored to have a number of warriors who are privileged to be with us tonight, and we have been privileged to serve. Lieutenant Colonel Constantine, Captain O'Hearn, and Mike Wilson are seated with us tonight. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. Let's give them a round of applause. You know, last week, the running of the Boston Marathon was preceded by the inspiring stories of the survivors of last year's terrorist bombing. Some of those lives, too, were saved and improved through the lessons we learned on the battlefields 8,000 miles away. These accomplishments are something to be rightly proud of, to be honored, and to be talked about in every venue we have available to us. But in medicine, our successes are always tempered by the sacrifices and the pain and suffering that are accompanied by our advances, by the patients who have to suffer the disease and illnesses we learn from. Our accomplishments over the last 12 years have been as hard-earned as anyone can imagine. We have laid to rest over 6,600 men and women, including medics, who lost their lives in combat on those battlefields. Over 50,000 have been wounded in action, and many with lifelong disabilities. Many who did return through the normal course of deployment will have their health conditions that will present themselves down the road, but will require as much time and attention as the immediate wounds of war. This is something that one of our awardees, General Odierno, knows on both a professional and personal level. And I must say that I am so enamored of General Odierno and all that he has contributed. You know, if you look at uniforms, uniforms read like resume, and if you look on his right sleeve there are a number of service stripes that go from his wrist to his elbow. This is an example of the enormous sacrifice that both he and his family has made to this country, and we should give him a round of applause. If there is any way that we honor those lives and those sacrifices, it's by being better today than we were yesterday and being even better tomorrow than we are today. It is by being a system that we learn and share our improvements with others. But we can never forget the sacrifice that preceded the success. Now, my second point. If war brings out the dark side of humanity, then military medicine represents a degree of hope and light. The people we are honoring tonight remind us of that. People who embody the courage and determination to be better than they were the day before. Men and women, officers and enlisted, who are not just skilled medical professionals, but military leaders first, and teachers who have taken their substantial skills and shared them with others. It is in their stories tonight that you will see the discipline of medical professionals over the last 12 years that has been instrumental in the number of lives that have been saved. And they work relentlessly to share their information with our peers throughout military medicine and with our peers in the civilian sector. And underlying all of these accomplishments is a deep humility that we find in virtually every soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine who is called to serve. But perhaps most apt to this evening is the coming together of the ethos and values of both medical professionals and those of being a soldier, sailor, and airman. These values are reinforcing and reaffirming duty, honor, selfless service, loyalty, and personal courage. My final point, our work in military medicine continues. We know that the end of combat operations in Afghanistan is coming this summer, and while a welcome respite from 12 years of combat, we know that this is not the end of combat forever. As it has happened after every major war in our country, the military is about to get smaller. And this includes the military health system. What we will not shrink from is our commitment and our deep moral obligation to the men and women who serve today, who will serve us tomorrow, and their families. We rightly celebrate the advances that we have made in the prosthetics, in traumatic brain injury, and in almost every medical specialty in our system. We spotlight the achievements of our Warriors athletes at the Warrior Games and the Wheelchair Games and other venues that display the true grit of our service members. But those 20 and 30-year-old Warrior athletes will become 50 and 60 and 70-year-olds someday. And we need to commit to their care over decades to come. We need to keep them healthy and fit, and help them confront the long-term challenges of their injuries, both physical and mental. We honor the people here tonight by demonstrating our commitment, by continuing to invest in research, invest in our people's continuing education, and invest in the buildings and infrastructure where our wounded, ill, and injured recover, and where their families stay and our people work. Yet we know something else. We cannot do this alone. We need to work through the whole of U.S. government with the VA and Health and Human Services and labor and departments and other agencies. We also need to think even more deeply about our work with the private sector. Throughout this room are many leaders from the private sector and various institutions, close partners in our mission of healing and health. This is more than a business that you're in. This is profoundly serious business and a mission of passion. I know that all of you know that. Among you is a giant, Mr. Ken Fisher, and the entire Fisher family. Mr. Fisher will also be recognized this evening, and his work needs little explanation in this room. But I will say this. What the Fisher Foundation has done represents our future. The need for more tightly integrated public-private partnership is part of a set of solutions to our challenges and will make us stronger. We are going to have to be creative in cultivating and expanding upon these partnerships to meet our readiness mission, to keep our clinical skills current, to engage throughout the world wherever and whenever we are called upon, to keep faith with the people who are members of and served by the military health system, and to honor those who have given so much, both in uniform and their families. So it's an honor for me to be here tonight with everyone and to be part of such a celebration of excellence. My congratulations to all of the awardees and my deep appreciation to the Jackson Foundation for making this event possible. Have a great evening.
Thank you very much, Dr. Woodson, for your inspiring keynote address.